Good evening, everyone. This is MemphisWeather.net meteorologist Eric Procius, and we're going to give this a shot and see what's going on here. See if we can successfully put out a live stream and talk about storms a little bit. And this really is just a test, kind of. There's not a whole lot of weather going on, but there's a little bit around to talk about. And so I'm grateful for anybody that is tuning in tonight. Thank you, welcome, and I'm happy to have you along. So want to make sure that you're also aware that you should be subscribing to MemphisWeather.net on YouTube and turning on that little bell so you get notifications when we do this live, because we will be doing more of these as we go into the near future here. But again, this is just kind of a little bit of a test to see how this goes. So thanks for joining along. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Eric, and we're going to look at what's happening around the area right now and give you a little bit of an insight. Looking over our shoulder and seeing what's on the radar tonight. So if you are in southeast Shelby County, if you're down in far eastern DeSoto County, northwestern Marshall County, over into Fayette County, that's kind of where the action is right now. We've got the looping radar showing right now, and you can see that there are some isolated thunderstorms moving through that area, southeastern part of the metro, that have been going on for the last half hour, 45 minutes or so, and moving pretty progressively across the area. So while there is some heavy rain definitely embedded in these cells, it is not going to last very long in one location unless you happen to get a couple of them moving through. About 7:30 or so, the National Weather Service here in Memphis did put out a significant weather advisory, or what we like to call a junior thunderstorm warning, for portions of Germantown and Collierville over into the Piperton area in Fayette County for a cell that was moving through there. That runs through 8 o'clock, but that particular cell that they put it out for has dissipated. There is another one going right through there, though. So let's pause this for a minute and kind of take a look-see here close in and see what's going on. If you're tuning in from the Germantown area down towards Olive Branch, then this is mostly information for you. So we'll zoom right in here. In this box, the kind of tan box is where the significant weather advisory was. But that was for this particular cell back. I'm sorry, let me go back a little bit farther here. Not quite that far. So this storm blew up right over Germantown, along the Poplar area, Highway 57, about 7:20, 7:30, and got pretty strong there for a minute. It has fallen apart as it went out towards the Collierville area. There's another one that's right along its path, though, and that's the one we're going to take a look at now. Again, moving through kind of the same area. So right around Winddyke, Ridgeway Country Club, down towards Mike Rose Soccer Complex. There's a pretty good downpour that's going on in that area. There is a little bit of lightning. So if you're driving out Highway 72, Poplar, or out 57, headed towards the Collierville area, these are moving into your area out there. This is Highway 385 that goes right through there as well. So right down there around Mike Rose, up towards kind of the heart of Germantown there, the eastern side of Germantown, moving into the western portions of Collierville, right again along kind of the 72 385 corridor. So if you're in Collierville, this one is headed your general direction. It is kind of moving to the east northeast. So while it is extending a fair ways south of Poplar right now, as it moves east northeast, by the time it gets to Collierville, it could be mostly along and north of Collierville, but could graze through the Carriage Crossing area. Collierville High School there down on the south side of Collierville. We'll probably get some rain actually from this little cell that's separated from the main one we're watching right now, that's down on the south side of 385, and where 72, Highway 72 kind of splits off from 57 there and goes into Mississippi. So that's the area we're looking at. Pretty heavy rain in that area and some thunder and lightning, but it will move fairly progressively through. It is the second or third that has moved through there in the last hour or so. You'll get another little round of rain as that moves through, and it is pretty heavy. There is a little bit of a potential for some heavier, pretty heavy drops in there. Radar's picking up the very low end potential for some hail. I doubt that there's any hail in that, but certainly is going to mean that there's some pretty heavy downpours. So if you're out in that area, especially out, say, along Forest Hill, Irene, and moving east from there, that area is going to get some pretty heavy rain here as we go into the next 30 minutes or so. So this is Bailey Station, where it intersects 385 right down here by Carriage Crossing, and then goes north up to Poplar. So that area is going to get pretty heavy rain here for the next 30 minutes or so. And then that will continue out east, out towards Byhalia Road, and then Highway 72 here in the next 20 minutes or so. So that's what's going on there. We'll take a peek across the rest of the area and see what's going on in the other areas. It looks like just a couple of isolated cells a little bit farther to the north, maybe north of Oakland and down kind of southeast of Blue City Oval up there, Blue Oval City. I got to get used to saying that properly. And then down in North Mississippi, as we have Highway 78 cutting down through northeastern DeSoto County and then into Marshall County. So around Byhalia, 78 down from Byhalia down to about Red Banks. That area is getting some pretty good rain. And again, this is moving to the east-northeast. So it's going to be moving up towards Mount Pleasant and Sladen, but crossing Highway 78 as it does so, and another pretty good little cell just northeast of Holly Springs down there as well. I'll let this loop through again, and we'll kind of see the general direction of these storms, and there's what we've got. So those are going to be moving through northern Marshall County, bringing some pretty heavy downpours. Again, maybe there's a little bit of a hail signature there from the radar, but that's very, very low end. It's most likely just very big raindrops coming down out of those cells. So pretty heavy downpours going through Byhalia, and those are headed up towards Highway 311, up towards Sladen. I'm sorry, towards Mount Pleasant, where it intersects with 72 up there, just south of the Tennessee state line. So those areas are going to get that as we go through into the evening hours. I'm going to try and do something here, see if I can pull up the model data for what we're looking at for the overnight hours. Thanks again for everybody that is joining. We appreciate having you on. This is just a test of the live streaming capabilities that we've got, and we'll be exercising more for severe weather as we go through into the future here, and just kind of giving you a peek over the shoulder. I appreciate you guys that are dropping in some comments and questions. Thanks for that. There is live chat on here, so we can take those questions and answer those as well. Got one individual who is apparently works at the FedEx hub and is glad that they're not working at the hub this evening because there are probably going to be a few thunderstorms around heading into the overnight hours. So let's take a look at that, and I'm going to see if I can switch this. So give me just a minute. I'm still getting used to the technology here. back to the radar here and take a look at that. And again, thanks for everybody who's joining us tonight. This is Eric with MemphisWeather.net. We're testing out the live stream tonight with a few showers and thunderstorms we've got around and just kind of giving things a run for their money here. So appreciate you joining in. We do have access to the live stream as well. So if to the comments section. So if you're out there, say hello on YouTube on the comments, and we'll be glad to shout back at you. If you've got any questions, feel free to shout them our way. So KM Level says, it seems like the line has been building over Germantown all day. What would cause such a defined area of growth? That's a really good question. And actually there is kind of a trough, mid-level trough, which is kind of like a cold front at higher levels, not down near the surface where we would typically see the convergence that occurs along a cold front, but a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. And that's kind of been right along the river and just east of the river. And so actually most of the development today has been just to the east of that trough, which is, since it's positioned pretty much over us, it's been on the eastern half of the metro. And that was kind of the reason for a lot of the thunderstorms that were in Fayette and Marshall for a good part of the afternoon over those two counties. There was an outflow boundary that built back across Shelby County, and actually the remnants of it are kind of visible at the beginning of this radar loop. If I pause this right here, there's kind of a little line right through the middle of the city here. That's the leftovers from that outflow boundary. And that was what was causing those thunderstorms to kind of continually build on the east side of that boundary and go over Fayette and Marshall counties for a good part of the afternoon. They got quite a bit of rain there. So that still kind of lingers out there, and it looks like that might be kind of triggering some of these cells that are fairly isolated once they get to the east side of the city and eastern side of the metro to develop a little further, even at this time of the evening, is kind of getting a little bit of a lift there from that leftover boundary that's just sitting right over the county. So that's kind of the reason for that. Thanks for that question. That was excellent, and hopefully you got the answer to that. It looks like you might have. Or maybe I dropped out and back on. I'm not exactly sure. So if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot them our way. I'll touch base here with the radar again just for a couple of minutes before we call this an evening. And let me just go back and stop it at the current time. And those storms we were looking at earlier over Germantown are shifting to the east. Now they're basically right along and north of 385, entering into Collierville. This is Carriage Crossing 385, and so this is the Bailey Station exit at 385 going north into Collierville. 72 Poplar going right through there. So Poplar Avenue right down through the middle of Collierville right now. The town square, I'm sure, is getting a pretty good amount of rain, or is just about to, as that pretty good thunderstorm kind of moves over the town of Collierville. Up around Halley Park, getting some pretty good rain. So all of this is just heavy rain. There's no severe weather with any of this. I don't really see any lightning strikes right now either, so that's good as well. But it'll help take the edge off of the heat this evening as we kind of come down out of the 90s and into the evening hours. It should get you a head start on our overnight lows for tonight, and you'll probably sit in the 70s for the rest of the night once this rain passes. So that's about to move kind of right into the heart of Collierville. Another little cell that's associated with that's right down Highway 72 here, south of Collierville as it goes down towards North Mississippi. Piperton, you're up next for some of these. You'll probably get some pretty decent rain out of this as it moves through the area. It looks like it will probably stay just south of like the Spring Creek area. He's looking at 385, 269. They're coming down the east side of Shelby County along the Fayette County line. These storms are headed for that particular area as well, east and north of Collierville, and they will likely continue to move into kind of rural sections of Fayette County, southwest Fayette County, north of Highway 72 in the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. They're not moving real quickly, but they do have enough forward speed that there's probably not a lot of ponding or flash flooding or anything like that going on. We haven't gotten any reports of any of that, but pretty good and heavy rain and a little bit of lightning out there as well. So, and then that's kind of the northern end of this cluster of cells, which now is existing also over northwestern Marshall County, and that includes Highway 78 heading down towards Holly Springs, from Byhalia down to Red Banks. A couple little cells down there around Holly Springs as well, and then on the south side of 72, so this area between kind of Byhalia and Mount Pleasant will be pretty wet over the next 30 minutes to an hour or so. We're still showing that significant weather advisory there, but that did expire at 8 o'clock, and actually the storms that prompted that weakened as well. So I'm not really seeing any major threats out of these other than heavy rain. We'll take a quick look at the velocity to see what the wind is doing, and not really seeing much down there. There's really not any strong or gusty winds with this. You might get 10 or 15 miles an hour from the outflow of some of these cells, but certainly nothing that's going to cause trampolines to go flying or fence boards to come down or anything like that. It's fairly benign, just heavy rain and a little bit of steadier breeze with that as it moves out of the Collierville area or into the Collierville area from Germantown. So that's what we're looking at right now. If you're in some of these outdoor entertainment areas, ballpark and so forth, Halley Park down towards just east of Mike Rose. It's kind of cleared out of Mike Rose now. So if there was soccer going on down there before, that has moved out. You should be all clear at this point. But some of these ballparks out here in Collierville are going to be getting some rain here for the next hour or so. So keep that in mind. And with the thunder in the area, as well as a few lightning strikes, you want to make sure that you're in a safe place. Even back to your car with the windows rolled up is perfectly acceptable while this passes. You don't want to be out in the middle of this and not only getting soaking wet, but potentially a threat for some lightning out there as well. So make sure you're taking your cover out there. And if you're downstream of this, east side of Collierville out towards Piperton, you want to be aware of that as well. So that's kind of where we're at for tonight. Just briefly looking forward on the forecast itself. We've got just that little bit of chance of showers into tomorrow morning. We could get some scattered showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight, but nothing that's going to cause any major damage or anything. Just the kind of weather we sleep good with. A few showers in the morning as the front moves through, and then as that clears out, winds shift to the northwest tomorrow. We'll be looking at temperatures still in the lower 90s again tomorrow, with a fair amount of humidity. So I expect those heat indices still tomorrow to be up in the lower 100s. But that will be the last day of that for a little bit as the skies clear out tomorrow afternoon going into the evening hours. And then Wednesday looks to be a sunny day. The dew points will be, instead of in the lower 70s, they'll be in the upper 50s. Very, very pleasant humidity levels, and with a high temperature Wednesday around 90. Actually should feel really comfortable for this time of year, especially as we head out of August and into early September as we get towards later in the week. So looks pretty good. Those dry conditions last likely through Friday with lower humidity levels. Still 90 to 92 or so for the high temperatures, but not too bad at all. So we'll certainly take that once we can get rid of this humidity. So see if I got any other questions on there. There was a question about the altitude that the trough would be at. Yeah, and that's up where the airplanes are flying, maybe halfway up to about where the airplanes are flying. So we're looking usually about between 10 and 20,000 feet up, so 2 to 4 miles. Not enough to directly affect what happens here on the ground, but it does cause atmospheric conditions that would promote the formation of thunderstorms and so forth, and affect temperatures and so forth on the ground as well. So that's where that's at, and that does have an influence on what goes on down here at the ground level as well. So appreciate you joining. Thanks for the questions. That's nice of you to be with us, and I think we'll call it an evening right here. But again, thanks for joining. If you haven't already, make sure that you've subscribed to this YouTube channel. Make sure that you have hit the little bell to be notified when we go live for severe weather or any type of inclement weather anytime we go live, because we are going to be doing more of that. So we would love to have you subscribe to the channel and be with us as we do these into the future. So thanks again for joining tonight. This is Eric from MemphisWeather.net, and everybody have a safe night, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot.